welcome to another dose of virtual vitamin Z. This is DZS News for the week of January 18th, 2021. I'm your co-host, Stephen.
And I'm your co-host, Claire. Let's get started with some Detroit Zoological Society updates. What do we have this week, Stephen?
Well, to get started, the DZS is very excited to welcome Dr. DeAndrea Matthews as our Director of Diversity and Community Engagement. And Dr. Matthews will be working closely with the DZS Executive Team, Racial Equity Working Group, Diversity Advisory Council, and Human Resources Department, as well as the board's Diversity and Community Engagement Committee. And I think that this really shows that as the DZS, we're committed to not only animal welfare, conservation, sustainability, but we're also really committed to working towards diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we're all very, very excited to have Dr. Matthews on board.
Yeah, she's already sent us some great literature suggestions for some books as we continue to expand our library, ensuring that we're reflecting our entire community in the characters that are in the books, as well as the authors and illustrators. So I'm excited to continue working with her and getting to know her better. All right, and as we promised, we have an update on Solaire's habitat. A lot of progress has been made over the last couple weeks. All of the glass is in around the exterior of the habitat space now, so they're working on the inside. And as you can see from this picture, they've made some really significant strides in the concrete work. So this is an archway. Tucked right underneath the top of this archway are going to be some heat lamps. So that's a place that Solaire can go and get a little bit of extra warmth. And then right in front of this structure, there's actually going to be a heat rock for Solaire to spend some time on, sunning himself and getting a little bit of warmth out of there, since we know that reptiles are cold-blooded and rely on the temperature in their surroundings to stay regulated. This is that same rock arch from the other side. Again, you can see there's incredible detail on the rock work there. It's not complete yet. They have a little bit more work to do, and they're going to be doing some painting on it. And this is the pool. So this is where Solaire will be able to go in and kind of hang out and take a little bath and spend some time in the water. Again, a lot more work to be done on the pool here, but you can see it's starting to take shape. And it's really exciting to see all of this come to fruition. And it's really impressive on how much larger this habitat space is from the previous one.
I'm really excited just to see it kind of all taking shape, because I'll be honest, we've been doing these updates for a while, and I've been nodding my head like, yeah, you know, but finally being able to see, oh, that's what they were talking about is really cool for me.
Yeah, I was talking with our curator of reptiles, Jeff, and he thinks another several more weeks still to go before everything's kind of finished and done, but it's making great progress. So it's exciting to have that to share with everybody.
Awesome.
All right, Stephen, back to you for Animal Plays of the Week.
Actually, this is Animal Cam Plays of the Month, because we're going to be doing a little bit less regularly, because we're also working in the Connecting with Nature segment and the Humane Tip segment, but we want to make sure that we still bring you this footage. And, you know, if you haven't already been able to tell, one of the reasons we do this is it is fun, it is kind of, you know, a joke, but it also highlights some of the really amazing features of these animals, as well as their habitats and their ability to express these species-specific behaviors. So it's really about humane education and animal welfare, and I hope that y'all enjoy.
Here we go. It's the Animal Cam Plays of the Month. Starting off at number 3 with River Otter Partner Yoga. Now, one of our viewers submitted this video and asked, what is it exactly that these two river otters are doing? Now, in the future, I would definitely recommend contacting one of our exceptional animal care or animal welfare staff with a question like that. But I would say that this is pretty clearly river otter partner yoga. I mean, right here you can see two upward-facing river otters, and then that might be a happy river otter at the end there. All right, moving on to number 2. Number 2 is Amur Tiger branch breaking. Now, some of you may be saying, wait a sec, I don't think that branch breaking is a sport. And to that, I would say it's important to remember to empathize with these non-human animals. So what may be a sport to us may not necessarily be a sport to them, and vice versa. And as you can clearly see, either Alexei or Nikolai is doing an amazing job of, looks like he's watching us there, is doing an amazing job of using his jaw and his front limbs to tear the branches off of this tree. All right, before we move on to number 1, let's do a caption this with this photograph of a Bactrian camel at the Detroit Zoo. Now, we decided to caption this flow, because just look at that hair blowing in the wind. It's pretty incredible. But we want to know what you would caption this. So now it's your turn. Go ahead and add a comment, or if you'd prefer, send us an email at education@dzs.org. We may feature this on a future episode. And finally, moving on to number one. Number one is lion cub stalking. And yes, that's right. This is Binti in the background of the video, and she is trying to sneak up on Amir. Now watch as she uses this fallen log for cover. Great job there. She gets a little bit hasty, but quickly backtracks and hides behind that larger log. You can see her coming around the other side, and she starts to, ooh, look at that. She's crouching down low to be nice and quiet, pauses a little bit there, and finally makes a break for it. And look at that. Oh, yep, she gets a reaction. Great job, Binti.
All right, Claire, back to you for our feature story.
Yeah, last week we encouraged you all to look around the house for any of your 2020 calendars. Can't get rid of 2020 fast enough, but you might still have a calendar around that you're trying to figure out what to do with. And we asked you all to submit some ideas of what you've done with your calendars. And we have 2 submissions of things that you can do with your 2020 wall calendar. So the challenge included that you couldn't use more than 5 other items to modify your calendar into some other new reusable products. So fitting in with our green journey and our sustainability goals, ensuring that we are eliminating the amount of items that are going into our waste stream. And the first one is a puzzle. So for this, all you needed was glue, a calendar page, some paper, and some scissors. And you're going to glue that calendar page, so the backside where all the dates and the month information is, onto that paper, and then trim it out so it's the exact same size as that paper. And then you're going to find a partner to do this with, and you're going to make a single cut in your calendar page, and then you're going to hand it over to your partner, and they're going to have to put that puzzle back together. So to make it tricky, you can flip it over to the solid paper color side, and if you want it to be a little bit easier, you flip it back over to the picture side. And then your partner puts it together, then he or she makes a cut into the calendar and then hands it back. And then you have to put it together, and you go back and forth like this until it gets too complicated to put together, and we had to flip it over and focus back on that picture. So this is practicing math skills, spatial reasoning, and depending on the picture that you use, you can also be practicing some of those observation skills, which are important when you're putting together puzzles, because you start to look at some of those different details and notice things that you might not have while that calendar was sitting up hanging there for a month. So I had a pretty challenging partner there with my penguin friend. So fortunately we had that image to flip back over. Stephen, you want to tell us about the next one?
Yeah, I guess to start, I just wanted to say it's really cool that wasn't just upcycling, it was also math skills. You know, a really neat way to use the calendar for multiple things. And so we got another submission. This might look a lot like the plush frog behind me, but totally unrelated. But this viewer submitted also a calendar idea, but a little bit different. So in this case, they used a cardboard box, a box cutter, scissors, glue, and the calendar itself. And as you can see, the first thing they did was they cut one piece of the calendar out. Looks like a nice picture of the snowy owl, which is really fitting for the month of, well, I guess the season of winter, the month of, in this case, February. And then they also cut out a piece of the cardboard, and they used a box cutter. Now, I will point out here, it does not look like in this picture they had a cut glove. It turns out they did have a cut glove. They just didn't put it in this picture. But make sure that if you're using the box cutter, you are wearing a cut glove to stay safe. And if you're a young person, make sure you have a parent with you. And these are things you can definitely do with scissors too. It just, you know, it's a little bit different with a box cutter. And so then they put the calendar piece on and put some glue on it, and then glued it to the cardboard. And as you can see, there's a little bit too much cardboard. So they went back to using that box cutter, and there's that cut glove that they were using, and cut off the strips. And then they made quite a few cuts. It looks like maybe 13 or so different cuts from top to bottom. And then it looks like about they cut those pieces into 3. And so this makes a puzzle, and you might need to re-glue some of those pieces just because they really all need to be glued together for it to work. But I actually realized this is quite a bit more challenging than a jigsaw puzzle because the shapes are all basically the same. So it's really focusing on that close observation and your ability to really notice those kind of subtle differences. And the other cool thing is that because this is a picture of an animal, it's also a really cool opportunity to spend some time really closely observing that animal, learning more about the snowy owl. And, you know, as I was checking this picture out, it's a pretty cool picture, pretty cool photo. And it's not too late. If you all have your own ideas, feel free to continue submitting those in so we can share them out. And again, this is just one idea for viewer submissions. If you have other ideas for viewer submissions that you want to send us, feel free to do so. We would love to get any submissions at education@dzs.org.
While our penguin and frog friends are very talented, it would be great to have additional viewer submissions.
It would. Plus
Right,
animal or human viewer.
Or human viewers, yes, yes.
Well, back to you for the virtual education program preview.
All right, so just a reminder that we've changed our format. So every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m., we have a new, different, engaging topic for you to view. Starting with today, Monday at 11 a.m., DZS News, of course, with Stephen and Claire. This is episode 2.3.
And then Tuesday, it is our Saving Wildlife series, which focuses on conservation, one of our mission pillars. And the topic this week is Falkland Islands penguins.
On Wednesday at 11 a.m., we'll have a virtual habitat chat featuring the bald eagles. Lots of great rescue stories in that group, so that'll be worth tuning in for certain. Thursday the
21st, Animal Welfare Tales, Seesaw. And if you're not sure what Seesaw is, it's not seesaw. You won't find it on a playground. It is Seesaw. It's very cool. Definitely tune in on Thursday to learn more about it.
And then on Friday, Stephen, you have another episode of Wild Winter, and this time around you're going to be sharing with us how to build a shelter.
So we will be learning from squirrels how they build the shelter, and then mimicking squirrels to see if that creates a shelter that's going to keep us warm or dry.
I am very grateful for my house as shelter during the winter.
That's
the cold weather.
That's also an option, but just in case, you know. Squirrels, you know, I know some people who have squirrels in their attic, but most squirrels have to make do outside. And as a reminder, all of these episodes are going to begin at 11 a.m. on the Detroit Zoo's Facebook page.
Just a reminder to all of our educator friends who are out there, we have quite a few offerings at DetroitZoo.org, ready to print off lesson plans, curriculum, virtual vitamin Z, and virtual Zoom classes. So check us out for a little bit of extra vitamin Z during the winter months.
And one in particular that might be of interest to you this week is our monthly Zoom with the Zoo. On January 20th, we are going to be featuring the Massasauga rattlesnake. So that's definitely something, it'll be fascinating, and it's definitely something worth checking out. So be sure to register for that.
I actually saw the Massasauga rattlesnake this morning when I went over to take those pictures from Solaire's Habitat Update. It's always great to go over there and be able to see some of the reptiles.
And then the third one is Zoo Tots at home. And this has been something that's been active for a while, but we continue to add new classes to it. And from what I've been told, it's pretty incredible. I don't have young people at home myself, but I do have a lot of friends who do, and they've spoken very highly about it. And this is people, you know, all over. We can ship these supplies. So even if you don't live in the Detroit area, we can ship them to you. So if you're in a different state even, you can participate.
The nice thing about Zoo Tots at home, which we obviously transferred from our on-grounds programming to at home, is now parents, the toddlers can tune in and enjoy this with their kids at any point. So it doesn't have to work with a working schedule or just on weekends. It's on demand, so it can fit in with your schedule. And like Stephen said, we'll ship you all the supplies that you need to be able to do the activity. So check it out, DetroitZoo.org. All right, everyone, that's what we have for you this week for DZS News. Until we see you next week, stay healthy, Detroit.